8 o'clock. Our main man, Dukes, behind the glass, keeping us rolling here each and every Saturday morning. I hope everyone had a great week. We got lots of stuff to talk about, as we often do here. The fishing world is
a buzz,
rolling and rolling and rolling along. So lots of stuff to cover here. Phone lines are open if you want to join us. 1-800-969-9352. How was your week, brother?
It was good, man. Lots of stuff rolling through this week, and lots of good fishing. Fishing is hot, weather is hot, and we're just dodging storms. It was a weird one. I mean, Tuesday, that was quite the afternoon thunderstorm. For those of you in Pinellas County and North Pinellas County, really all of Pinellas County got waxed by that storm, and some of North Manatee, I should say. It was pretty epic, unexpected, and we went from sunny blue skies to 40, 45 mile an hour gusts in a matter of 10 minutes.
That's crazy.
It was really, really epic, and a lot of boats got caught in that one just because it wasn't forecasted. I mean, I use a pretty hefty weather modeling company and modeling website, and really follow it closely to kind of gauge, all right, our beach cabanas, our boats out at Egmont Key, Shell Key, our dolphin tours, our fishing trips. I want to know when it's going to rain that day.
Right.
So I pay pretty close attention to it, and everything I had said like 6, 7, maybe 5 o'clock you'd see a storm. That thing rolled through at like 2:30, and it was epic, and it was definitely not a great situation. So we've been dodging those storms this week and dealing with our typical summertime pattern, but fishing is going well. We're still catching a lot of those red snapper. We still got 2 more 39-hour trips for those red snapper, Sunday and Tuesday, both with room on them, surprisingly. And still got some 12-hour extremes going out there for the red snapper. And then we're going to shift gears quickly and try to target a bunch of mangroves and red grouper and gag grouper. Been doing really well on the grouper bite. The mangroves, we found a big knot, a really, really big fat mangrove snapper, but they're not anywhere close to the red snapper, so we've been avoiding that area for the last couple weeks, and excited to get back out there once red snapper closes and we don't have to chase around those red snapper anymore. But definitely a lot of pelagic action this past week too. We saw some nice blackfin tuna and caught a nice sailfish, caught and released a nice sailfish on the Flying Hub too as well. So a lot of good stuff going on out there in the deep water, just hunting and hoping for good weather. And this past week was a really good example of why you get so upset with weathermen and forecasts, because it was a great example of that. Forecasts were just well off a lot this week, and it had a lot to do with just the storms and the energy in the Gulf of Mexico. But hoping for some reprieve this upcoming week as we close out our red snapper season of 2022. And there's still a lot of confusion about red snapper season. Keep in mind, private recreational angling season for red snapper, if you're on your own private boat, closed at the beginning of August. But you guys have those added weekends in the fall that the FWC announced. So there's like a Labor Day weekend, there's some in October, and those weekends we won't be able to fish for red snapper, but private recreational anglers will. And then federal for-hire anglers like us at Hubbard's Marina have red snapper season until end of day, August 18th. So definitely a little confusing, but you get more days in the fall, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, no doubt.
It'd be nice to chase around red snapper when it's a little cooler out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a little warm, definitely a little warm. We had that full moon midweek, and that made fishing really, really good early as we were leading up to that full moon.
It wasn't fishing, it was catching.
It was catching, and I thought it got a little bit tougher yesterday. Wasn't terrible. We caught some fish, but you had to work, and a lot of the guys I talked to, you had to grind a little bit. I mean, you could settle into that little bitty snook bite, the smaller snook that are chewing in some areas pretty good. They still ate pretty good yesterday. I heard some guys got into some smaller rat reds, which is good to see. But the bigger fish, if you were targeting the big schools of redfish that we've been beating up pretty good, that bite was a little bit tougher for me at least. And a couple guys I talked to, we caught some, but it wasn't what it had been. So interesting. We had a little bit of breeze too this week, which was for the offshore guys, maybe not so welcome. Yeah, but very welcome for the inshore guys who got to, sit oftentimes behind mangrove shorelines and things like that, and you just cook back there like an egg. So it was nice to have a little bit of that breeze to keep things a little bit cooler. We had a little haze, which I thought was interesting. The morning haze was
very welcome.
Yeah, it was. It's welcome. It makes it tougher if you're sight fishing. We had some great sight fishing opportunities on the beach, which made it a little tougher for the untrained eye to find those fish. We watched a charter captain from, I'm assuming he's down there from Anna Maria somewhere.
Why would you assume that?
It's just the way he behaved.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a dandy. He was struggling with the whole visual aspect of catching redfish. Apparently, he thought he was on them, but I'm like, yeah, those are just sticks in the water, dude, not fish.
You know why it was hazy?
No, why was it hazy?
Saharan dust.
Oh, that's right. I heard that. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. It definitely still in the atmosphere, but it's welcomed. There is some believed to be, and they're still studying it, studying the correlation between increased Saharan dust levels and potential for harmful algal blooms, maybe contributing to that. But there's been no proven correlation. The big benefit that I see from it is it calms down the atmosphere and really prevents tropical formation. So I welcome Saharan dust.
Our government just spent billions of dollars on climate control, right? So maybe would that be involved in that study? Would any of that money go towards that? I don't. I'm just
we made it 10 minutes, guys.
What? I was just curious. I mean,
Well, I mean,
the FBI was busy this week. I mean.
Oh man,
they had a lot of important stuff going on. Maybe they could investigate China and just
but
try to figure out how
a surefire economistic way to cure inflation is definitely spend more money that you don't have.
Well,
that's factual.
Anytime. I mean, it's
everybody knows that.
It's a great business plan. If the column on the right says zero, just keep writing checks.
The column on the right says -4 trillion. Just keep spending more.
Just keep writing checks, bro. It's all good. I mean, what the hell? It don't matter.
It's not your money.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I can't. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting. Lots of big redfish around. I'm really excited for September. It's early. It's a little early to see those fish. I mean, it is. I mean, we catch some in August. There's no doubt. We caught some last year in August, but
how about tarpon?
It sure seems healthy. There's a lot of tarpon around still.
Yeah, I don't chase tarpon, but man, are they distracting.
But you know what? It's interesting to me that there's so much attention on it because August has always been a good month.
For tarpon?
Yeah, always.
So it's May is when they kind of show up. June is kind of the peakish, right?
Yeah, kind of. They get going in May, June.
They stay around till
What happens is everybody gets a little tired of fishing for them.
I got you.
And they're not quite as thick, and they're not in those prominent locations. Like the Skyway Bridge isn't covered with schools of them. You won't just show up out there and there'll be 600 of them there like there is in May and June.
You got to be sneaky.
Yeah. I mean, guys like Captain T.J. Stewart, phenomenal guy out of Manatee County there, exceptional tarpon fisherman, great fisherman in general. He starts catching them things in February at the bridge. I mean, they're there. They just don't show up in those big. The other thing is this time of year, if you really want to target tarpon, and to me, it's some of the best tarpon fishing. I think that because it's a lot of the micro tarpons. You get into those little bitty poons.
Those are fun.
They are the best. And the Hillsborough River, the Palm River, the Alafai River, Cody O'Connor, who made it for me for years, his dad lives on the Alafai, and he sent me pictures from last Saturday, I think. Yeah, last Saturday, him and his buddy went out and they caught 7 of them, just those little micros. And he said that the river was full of them.
Yeah.
And he lives right on the Alafai.
It's so funny, everybody's definition of a micro tarpon. To me, I think immediately to like chasing tarpon in those little ponds back in like Cross Bayou that were like 14 inches and we're catching on an 8-pound test. That's a micro tarpon to me. But then other people are like, yeah, it was only 60 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a micro tarpon.
It's a little fella.
So it's a very relative term.
Just a little fella. I still think, what's interesting too is the bait situation.
Tons of it.
There's a lot of bait, but to me, it's funny to watch some. You have to remember what we're dealing with water temp wise. If you put your hand in the live well of your boat, or just if you're standing on the beach, that water's really, really warm. They don't want to chase anything.
Yeah.
I see a lot of guys still fishing with white bait. I'm having so much more luck on
cut
pinfish, and or pinfish and or white bait with a weight. I've been weighting them down a little bit, putting a little slip sinker on, even a 1/4 ounce, just to slow them baits down. And it makes it it just seems to really ramp up your bite. They just are not in a chase it mood. I watched a guy yesterday chum a shoreline, and I thought, I just don't know that that's going to be the right. I just don't think you're going to get a lot of chase right now,
It's hot.
It's hot. It's hot. I don't blame them. I don't want to chase my food right now either.
No.
I don't. That's why I don't go hunting till November. It's nice and cool out. But yeah, it's
the tarpon are thick in John's Pass. It's very distracting. Very distracting in the morning. Out there trying to do a little update, trying to watch the sunrise. I don't. My definition of micro tarpon is wrong. We already discussed that. But I'm not the greatest tarpon estimator, but they seem to be 4.5, 5, 6 foot
so
long
you
fish.
got
100-pounders.
You're talking 100-pound fish. That's not little tarpon. That's
not big tarpon, but not little either.
100-pound tarpon. It's all about perspective. If you have it on the line and it's August and you have to fight that tarpon, 100-pound tarpon is huge.
Yeah, and when you're fishing off the bow of a party boat in a slip, 100-pound tarpon's a monster.
Yeah, it's very hard to land that fish from a party boat.
But you get a good jump or two. That to me is worth it.
Oh, no doubt. To me, that's the best part. Jump and dump.
Yeah,
that's what we used to call it down in Boca Grande back in the day. Just jump them and dump them, baby. Don't want to fight them. I said it for years now that if you see me fighting a tarpon, look for the camera. There's a camera on somewhere. Otherwise, I'm literally like, I just want to. Oh, there he is. Yeah, he flew off. That's perfect. Thank you for coming. Unless he's a micro. Unless he's a little guy.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me with amberjack. Even if there was a camera, I'd probably still hand you the rod.
Right, I get it.
I've done plenty of that in my life. I don't need any more.
One of the reasons I love getting down to the Everglades is, you'll be fishing a shoreline and catch 5, 6, 7 snook, in a spot, and then pitch a bait in there and just get a thump, just a dunk, and you're like, oh, that's a stud. And boy, when you lay the wood to that thing and it jumps out of the water 5 feet, you're like, whoa, tarpon on. It's so cool, dude. You're like, now that's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that really is. That's really cool stuff. You get a lot of that down in the Glades still, which is why it's such a special place. So
yeah, I've always wanted to go down there, and now they have those like exploration trips where you can like get a houseboat and go into the Glades pretty far and spend a day or two.
Really?
That would be epic.
I don't.
Waiting for my son to get old enough.
Well, this is what I would tell you if you're going to do that. I would make sure you have either the single greatest insect repellent on, or like bug tamers, wear something, look like a beekeeper. Because the mosquitoes in the Everglades are gargantuan.
Yeah.
Like they're real.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, you go into any woods anywhere in the world, and there's a lot of mosquitoes.
Critters.
Yeah. And people always say how buggy Florida is, but my family has some property up in Michigan, and we go to Michigan every summer. And, of course, what do? You go immediately into the woods and the ravines and go exploring. That's what I always used to do. But the mosquitoes up there are like the size of mockingbirds. It's crazy. Yeah. And you go in too far past that tree line, and all of a sudden you're getting carried away. So that's just one of those things. You got to pay to play.
Yeah, at certain times of the year. I mean, they're definitely there. There's no doubt about it. We have plenty of bugs here where I hunt up in Georgia.
Yeah.
I'm headed up there in September to do some work on some feeders and some stuff on the deer property, and it's going to be buggy.
And I think the Everglades would be awesome going fishing and doing some light tackle stuff, some backcountry stuff.
So cool.
But I want to hunt a python.
Do you?
Real
You're a
bad.
snake guy. We had that
Real
discussion. I don't get that.
I want to hunt a python 100%.
Yeah.
That's a part of that trip.
See, every time I see a snake, I think belts or boots. That's it. Like I don't see any point in that creature other than that.
I love snakes.
I know you do.
They're awesome.
We had that discussion.
Mm-hmm. Had a pet snake, won another one. Wife won't let me.
Hates Waffle House, loves snakes.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Dukes.
Dylan. So when you're hunting pythons, once you catch, because I know this, what season's just opened, right?
They're an invasive species, so there is no
Always
season.
open, right?
Yeah. Oh, so okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up for a novice like myself. But just curious. So whenever you catch one, I mean, what do you do with it?
You have to kill it because any invasive species, like a lionfish, for example, you catch a lionfish, it's actually illegal to release it alive. So you have to get rid of it, dispatch it, if you will. And I don't know if there's some rule about being able to take it home for a pet, but if you can, I'd try that too.
Well, I was wondering, when you dispose
snake,
of it,
that's my first guess.
When you're tasked to dispose of it, does that mean you can do whatever you want as long as it ends up dead? You know, turn it into a pair of boots.
This is a weird question.
I mean, just genuinely curious. Didn't know if there was proper disposal technique.
I mean, I think there's a bunch of different things that you can do with it. I know yesterday I had some snake jerky given to me by a client of ours, and it was very good. So who knows? I might try python jerky.
Dude, dudes, you can't lead him down
But you could definitely eat them. I know that.
That's just horrible.
I would try it.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Try anything.
I don't even
once.
want to eat them. I don't even want to eat snake. That whole critter makes my skin crawl. Bad.
Yeah, spiders.
Bad.
That's my thing.
Yeah, see, and I don't. Spiders aren't great, but I'm okay. I'd much rather a spider than a snake. No.
Now you're just talking crazy.
Again, lots of stuff to talk about this morning. We are just scratching the surface of the fishing world here. If you want to join us, and we certainly hope that you do, phone lines are open, 1-800-969-9352. It's the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show. Captain Dylan Hubbard, Captain Mike Anderson, light them up. We'll be back.
Keep listening for.
Is that Anna Luna?
Anna Luna, yeah.
Up there on the news?
Hayslet is got 400 grand, almost 500 grand from a super PAC called Florida Now or something. And he is spamming stuff about Anna Luna. And now she's trying to go back at him. So Hayslet and Anna are just smearing each other.
That's great.
Amanda Mackey's kind of staying out of
I
it.
talked to Luna's guy yesterday. He called me on the phone.
John Shipman.
He called me asking me about red grouper season. I'm like, that's a Dylan Hubbard thing.
Yeah, thanks. Called me later.
What? You said he's calling the show today.
Yeah, Anna's great. Amanda's great. Even John, from what I could tell from his policy, seemed like it was all right. But I think I would vote for either Amanda or Anna, just because I don't know John. I know Anna, Anna, Paulina, Luna pretty well. Met her a few times, and Amanda Mackey, I met her. She seems really cool. She's very focused on the environment. But their Democratic opponent, because this is obviously the primaries to see who wins the Republican bid for District 13, their Democratic opponent, she's pretty environment focused as well. So I think any way you slice it, the environment wins at least. I think whoever comes out of Pinellas County should be focused on that, you know.
You would hope.
Grip strength may indicate health problems. So if you can't open a jar, you're unhealthy.
Weak ass bitch.
6-8 months now. No idea that was a fridge until like 2 weeks ago. I opened it. I was like, there's a fridge in here. I just totally ignored that corner.
1987, chemicals polluted the water supply at U.S. Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. Thousands of patriotic Americans were.
Good morning, Robert Riggs, Jim Demmel, Jack Edgar, Travis Wooten. Time to go catching. Charlie Paulins, what's up, man? Houston Diley. Dan the Fishman, what's up, buddy? Jay Bruner, Junior Carroll, Ron Speck, and Jim Demmel. Morning, y'all. Oh, did you see, can you turn down the monitor a little bit? The question, mono or fluoro, and why? I feel like a lot of people are back to the mono or fluorocarbon. Which one's your favorite and why?
Great.
I feel like it's a decent question.
It is.
I was struggling to come up with one today.
Oh, but that's good.
I feel like nowadays technology has changed so much; they're almost equal.
You think?
Yeah. At least offshore. And Saltstrong did a big study, and as far as what's disappeared better in the water, it was pretty much the same. It was almost impossible to tell the difference.
Really?
Fluorocarbon was more abrasion resistant, but now some of the new monos are as comparable. I think fluorocarbon is just harder. That's why I like it for leader material. But I used to put fluorocarbon as a top shot and then as a leader too. But I've gone to just using mono.
Cheaper.
Way cheaper.
Welcome back. 625. Is that Chicago dudes? Got that one right, huh? Nice. Must be all the horns going on. Just kind of gives it away, doesn't it? Little
Easy to
Chicago
tell.
thing. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, 625 here at the iHeart Media Empire. Let's go to the phones here. If you want to join us, phone lines are open 1-800-969-9352. Let's check in with the beautiful Florida Keys. Get a report from Capt Mike down in Big Pine Key. Michael, how are you?
Hey guys, Captain Bad back here.
Yeah, I heard you were down. That's there's very few things worse than your back being out.
Neck.
It's amazing. Your neck, your back, all that stuff
yeah.
is just a bad area. When that stuff's boogered up, it really slows you down. So I'm feeling for you, brother.
Well, I was able to get out yesterday. Of course, I hired the bait guy to go get my bait yesterday. It was well worth the money not to pick up a cast net yesterday.
Smart
and
move.
we got into some mahi, got into the snapper and grouper on the Atlantic side, and just had a good quality day. Got one wahoo to come in, about a 25-pounder.
Nice.
And I don't know where he was straggling along. He was cruising along by himself, I guess. That's the only one I've seen in the last couple months down here in the areas I fish. I think all the bigger ones, like I said before, are up in the northern Gulf, Tampa Bay north to Venice.
Mm-hmm.
And just a great time to come fishing in the Keys. It's hot, but it's definitely, the fishing's hotter. It'll make you forget about it. I think about you all the time when you say, oh, been sitting here about a half hour. The fish have kind of slowed down. It's time to either put the trolling rods back in or go for a ride to another spot.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Got to move. Keep that AC running.
Yeah, stick and move.
Exactly.
Yeah, good stuff.
I was talking to Dukes there real quick on the snake thing, and because we're closer to the glades or something. Basically, for those trappers and everybody who's taking the class and doing the snake roundup, you actually have to turn the snakes in either to the FWC or one of the 3 science places in the area. Miami, there's one in Homestead. You have to turn them in order to collect the bounty on the snakes. And it's a great job that those guys do because it's gotten really bad down in the glades.
I think it's a good
with
use for
pythons
ARs.
and constrictors.
Yeah. I think I would skip the bounty on at least one. Try to sneak it home in my luggage.
So you're so
But
twisted.
those guys, yeah, the trappers, they can do that. They actually they don't have to turn them into them. They might have a buyer who pays more money for them, but for the first few years, they ask you to do it right.
That's great. That's just what we need is those things living in neighborhoods.
Well, that's actually what caused the problem.
Exactly.
I'm completely joking about it, obviously, but I would like a pet snake, but not an invasive species.
Hey, we're up against the break, Michael. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you down there, buddy.
Sure, it's 813-434-8086, CaptainMichael47gmail.com, or just call 1-866-GAMEFISH, and Mike will shoot you my number. And back's getting better, and just come on down, and we're going to go do some fishing.
Get better,
Yes, sir.
brother. Appreciate the call, my friend.
I will.
All right, hang in there,
Thanks.
kid. Good stuff. We got a call from South Pasadena on the other
Okay, Mike Tyson.
on the other side here. Wants to talk a little bit about this red grouper closure, the pending closure. So we'll talk about that on the other side. Hopefully we'll hear from you as well. 1-800-969-9352. Light them up. We'll be back.
From the BioCell Neuropathy Pain Relief News Desk.
News, traffic, and weather. Top and bottom of every hour.
News Radio WFLA and
How about that tropical storm forming in the Gulf? Real quick.
Really?
Yeah, it just popped up off the coast of western Louisiana. It's going to cruise down the Texas coast. Not supposed to be super strong, but it is a tropical storm. Probable tropical storm.
Miami-Dade County is working to open more monkeypox vaccination sites. South Florida leads the state in the number of
Charlie Paulin said, I might go back to mono if the price of fluoro keeps going up. It is crazy expensive.
Everything's expensive.
We used to do, so the wholesale price, we go to this event called the Big Rock Expo where we get a lot of our wholesale items. And you used to be able to get wholesale fluoro deals, like a good number of fluoro spools. And if we bought like an exorbitant amount, like darn near a tractor trailer, you could get them for like $8, $7, $8 a spool. And now it's almost $15 wholesale. It's crazy. It's nuts.
I just got my Vicious.
Vicious braid or vicious fluoro?
Both.
Oh, really? Yeah. They make both.
Yeah, they do. Mono. They make mono too. I'll give you some of the mono. You can try it. Let me know what you think.
Oh, they have mono braid and fluoro? Holy
I
moly.
got a no fade braid.
A no fade braid.
Yep.
That's hard to pull off.
That's what he said. He said it's expensive to make.
Yeah.
But he said he got a guy that's been using it for 4 years.
Is it UV coated? How is it no
I don't know, but it is. I'll have to investigate deeper.
Yeah. I've been working on getting those D-hookers and round and round and round. Now I've gotten to the source, the guy who actually like produced them, manufactured them, produced them, and met with him yesterday, and the price of materials has gone crazy, so he can't really get them done for remotely anything.
That's the amazing part.
He said if I bought 1,000, we could retail them at $100 a piece, but $100 a piece is going to be hard to sell them just because of the cost of stainless. So
it's crazy to me that
but we're going to buy everything that he has left. So we'll have 730 of them, he thinks, but they'll only be the long ones, not the shorter ones that I love. But even the long ones are better than nothing.
It's amazing to me the amount of damage that COVID has done to the planet, and we still don't know where it came from. every day that jumps in my head, like, how is this even possible?
Dude, think about all the stuff nowadays, though. I mean, there's a lot of things that just get swept under the rug that you're like, how are people not talking about this?
Piney Point. We just talked about it yesterday.
Piney Point's terrible, yes, but like, for the love of all things holy, this whole thing with Giselle Maxwell and Epstein, how is that list not public? Like, that was just swept under the rug, and everybody's like, "Oh, cool,
Yeah,
forget about it."
No big deal.
Yeah.
There's
There's a lot of stuff.
Grown
like
men
that.
having sex with children, and nobody. List. We're going to keep the list.
Or how about the son of the president doing crack cocaine, filmed?
That's not.
No big deal.
No, that's not important.
Like these things that would have just been like earth shattering, just swept under the rug. Look the other way.
Yeah.
Don't mind what we're doing here.
Yeah. That's how people are just so apathetic to. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
to just right and wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't affect me, so screw it. I was thinking that this morning when I swung by McDonald's because the lady at McDonald's is still wearing a mask. There's people on the planet that are wearing masks.
Yeah.
You couldn't go into a McDonald's with a mask on before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have thought you were robbing a joint.
Yeah.
Now the lady waiting on you at McDonald's is wearing a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows where it came from. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We are some really lazy human beings.
Well, I think there's a lot of places that'll always be a thing for the rest of our lives. Like a hospital. You go to a hospital now, you have to wear a mask at all times.
Yeah.
Doctor's office,
yeah.
And
Again,
I don't think that'll ever change.
it changed the whole world.
Yeah.
Like not like this affected the Gulf of Mexico or this affected Florida or Texas or California. No, the entire planet. And no one wants to know. I'm mind blown.
I think they do know where it came from.
Where?
They have a general region. Wuhan, China.
We don't. You know that for sure.
I thought they verified
You thought, but we don't know, do we? Dude, how
You want somebody to be prosecuted?
Yes. Dude, they freaking pinned BP to the cross over the Gulf of Mexico deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it shut down the economy in the Gulf. This thing shut down an entire global economy, and everybody's like, my bad, dog. Really?
I see what you mean.
No one's in trouble for it?
So there's a documentary that basically outlines the reason, or what they believe to be the reason why, and it's the live animal markets in Wuhan. So, and the reason those are there is because of communism.
Well,
So if you want to blame something, blame communism.
Dude, China should be paying everybody some cash, you rich little bastards.
Good luck with that.
Captains Mike Anderson and Dylan Hubbard.
I think the live feed,
Solving the world's problems.
we are. Every time we go to break, dudes, I mean, really, I think it's underrated. Our ability to solve the world's problems is very underrated.
And it is not
Seriously.
always
Lobby
family
for
friendly.
another couple hours for a different program.
don't
Transition
don't
right
give me-
straight
who
from
asked
fishing
him?
into
Do
politics.
Do not get me started on that. I had 3 hours at one time. They took it away from me.
Yeah, that's twice today,
That's before
Dukes.
you,
You've made
yeah,
his little
yeah,
vein in his
yeah.
forehead throb.
Dukes, you're on a roll.
I'm
here.
going for the trifecta.
All right, now you hate.
I have to be in here with him. You're safely behind the glass.
I did get a new AR this week, so
Ooh.
yeah.
What kind?
Adams.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
You have finer taste.
I don't.
like it.
It just fell in my lap, and I went, "Well, I just can't let it lay there." that would be weird.
I found it.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, no name on it.
Yeah.
It's all good. Good
Love it.
stuff. Yeah, lots of good stuff to talk about here. Let's, as mentioned before we went to the break, let's go to Pasadena, South Pasadena, and let's talk to John, who wants to talk about closure of red grupas.
Hey, yeah, well, first thing, Mike and Dylan, what do you mean is that Chicago? Mark Hubbard would know. That's Chicago, 25 to 6 to 4. So,
wow, nice.
Great group, great song.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Dylan's going, what's Chicago?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Are we talking about the city or the Bulls or the Bears?
I work among my fishing talents. I also work with Anna Polina Luna. She's running for U.S. Congress for Pinellas, District 13, and we were talking about going fishing after the primaries in a couple of weeks. That's coming up on the 23rd. Get out and vote in the primaries, everybody.
Yeah, and vote for Anna. That's
and
what
I
we
told
say.
her, so I just read something about grouper closing, red grouper.
Yeah.
And my question is that strange to you? Is that a little bit early this year? And she's interested. I mean, is that hurting the industry? If they're closing red grouper in August?
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate.
I don't quite understand that.
It's unfortunate for sure, and I don't think you're the only one, and it's very, very hard to grasp. But it's not closure. Like, everybody thinks, all right, they're closing this species because it's in trouble. That's the assumption. That is not the reason behind this closure. These closures that are announced last minute like this a lot of times are quota closures, and that's what this is it's a quota closure. It means the quota is projected to be met. Now, that is unfortunate that it's closing. Yes, it is going to hurt the industry. Yes, it is going to hurt business. Yes, it's going to harm recreational access to the fishery.
They don't have good science to support any of this.
Here's where Mike's going to get a little upset, and general callers might get a little upset too. But you got to look at it as in a long-term thing. I'm young, and I'm a part of a multi-generational family business, and I have a young son that I want to be able to do what I do when he grows up. And to me, this is a good thing. And the reason I pause is because it is showing the health of the fishery. The fishery is rebounding. Red grouper had a problem. Fishermen came and said there's a problem with red grouper. And then slowly management matched that. They started restricting the catch and lowering the quota for red grouper, and the fishery rebounded. And we're seeing that on the water. The fishery is getting healthier. We're seeing a lot of juvenile fish, and we're catching more of them. And now we caught more fish. The quota is low, so we hit the quota. When the quota is projected to be met, they have to close the fishery. That's federal law designated under MSA. So it's a negative thing that the fishery is closing, but it's a positive thing. The fishery is healthy. We're catching more of them. Thus, we're reaching our quota and closing the season early. The last 2 years, they've been increasing the red grouper catch levels. Though I'm going to likely push again for that this year, and hopefully that'll get instituted again next year. So as the quota continues to grow, because we're proving it's a healthy fishery through our landings, eventually we'll get to a homeostasis point to where we can fish for 12 months again for these red grouper if the fishery continues to be healthy and allow for it. So it's just an adjustment. I mean, it happened in 2014, I believe. 2007, 2005, 2007, we had a big closure on red grouper. Then they slowly rebounded. The quota got really high again. And then the fishery went down, and there wasn't as many red grouper being caught. The quota came back down, and now all of a sudden the fishery's healthy again. Just grouper are very cyclical, and unfortunately right now for fishermen, we're in the downturn of quota, but fortunately for the fish, we're in the upswing of the biomass. So there's more fish on the water, not enough quota to allow us to have a 12-month season. But it's adjusting. And it's a function of fisheries management. And unfortunately, science and management lags behind what we're seeing on the water by a few years at times. But that's a function of the transparency of the system. I was just in a marine resource education program called the last few days, and that's what they were talking about is the lag between science management and what we're seeing on the water. And it's really a function of how transparent that system is, whether you believe it or not.
So
this started out to be a discussion about, going out fishing, in September.
Basically, what we learned here is that at some point, Dylan Hubbard will make one heck of a politician. That's what we learned.
Never.
That's what we learned right there, because that was the long, politically correct answer to "this is complete BS." That's exactly what that was. I loved it. It was brilliant.
Well, Dylan goes to all those meetings, because every one that I've ever been to, he's there.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's our guy. He's an incredible voice for us. He does a great job. Like I said, if I was Anna, I'd be trying to hire Dylan because his swagger.
She has actually held fishery meetings with us, and she has met with fishermen. She came to John's Pass, and we sat on the deck of the Friendly Fishermen and talked all about these fishery issues for 2 hours with a group of very, very intelligent fishermen, much more so than myself.
Well, she wants to. She says, "Well, let's take the crew out and go fishing in September, right after the primaries." I said, "Okay, well, let me call Hubbard and let's get the flying hub, because that's we want 8 or 10 people."
Yeah.
So, but what do you fish for in September then? If red grouper closes, I mean,
red
groupers are closed. I mean.
No, Amberjack opens September 1st. They're going to be open September and October this year. We've got gag grouper still, scamp grouper, mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, vermilion, almacos, porgies. We've got all the pelagics still going, so we'll have plenty of meat to catch. Triggerfish. Triggerfish is one of those fish that have rebounded and have longer seasons now too. So everything will be.
I love to
open.
eat triggerfish. Some people don't. And by the way, lionfish. If you don't hit the spines with your fingers, lionfish are good to eating too.
Definitely.
Python, I don't know. I heard that comment. I'm like Dylan. I'm going to take a pause on that one.
Snake jerky.
I've eaten snake before, but that's because I had not eaten in 5 days. That was the military.
Exactly.
If you don't eat in 5 days, you're going to. That looks good.
I'll take your word for it.
But is the little guy, the guy with the 6-pack license, the captain, is he going to be hit adversely with this closure, or is he got plenty of work, plenty of stuff to?
I mean, everybody's going to feel that red grouper closing. Really, it just becomes an educational thing. A lot of people hear, "Oh, red grouper closing," then it becomes, "Oh, grouper closed. I can't keep grouper," and that's not true. So, I mean, the message is grouper are open. We have gag grouper, scamp grouper. We have a great mangrove snapper bite. There's plenty of fish out there to be caught. But that general consensus of, everything's closed. Red snapper's over. Red grouper's over. What am I going to catch? And then people just aren't motivated to book a fishing trip. And that's what hurts those small business owners. But there's plenty of fish out there to be caught, and you just have to kind of change your business model and go after what's there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of out of town.
I went out 3 times. Yeah, I went out 3 times in June, and we hit our snapper limit all 3 times.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
John,
it's really, really good fishing zone.
It's a great call, brother. We appreciate you. I got to get to a couple others here before the break.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Vote in the primaries for Anna Paulina Luna. She's an outdoor woman. She loves to fish. We're going to get her out there on the Flying Hub in September, I'm sure.
Look forward to it.
Amen. Vote her in. Let's get that done. Let's check in with our freshwater guru here. Let's go to Ron at Ron's Tackle Box out in beautiful Lake Alfred, Florida. Ronnie, how are you?
Doing great this morning. Still nice and humid out here. It's going to be a nice warm day. We're going to get early showers. That's the weather forecast. But fishing has been real good. We're getting rains every day, a lot of moving water. Bass fishing has picked up tremendously. I've seen a 9-pounder yesterday, couple around 7.
Wow.
Right down here at Lake Rochelle. Caught on the Booyah Royalty crankbait.
Love it.
And it's amazing. It's just been real good. A lot of shellcracker, bluegill, crappies are starting to come in early. Some daytime, nighttime's real good. So running water is real good to fish, catfish. You want to come out and fish, you'll have a good time.
That's awesome.
Come in between the raindrops.
Right.
Talking about a little bit of politics. I don't talk about politics too much. I'm not going to mention any names. But if you want the right people in office, get out there and vote. And tell your friends to get out there and vote.
Amen to that.
Because if they don't, they get stuck with what they get.
Yeah, that's how it should be. I always say it. I don't want to hear you complaining if you didn't bother to vote. If you voted,
that's
then,
right. Look
then
what
you
we have right now in the country. So that's what you got.
Amen.
Today I'm having a good Greek meat for a good friend of mine running for judge in Polk County, right here at the store. I try to help good people and step up to the plate. That's what we have to do.
Amen to that. Do you need a judge?
All right, guys.
In Polk
I
County,
appreciate that. Fishing's good out here in Polk County. You'll have a good time if you come out.
You're the best, Ronnie. Tell everybody how they can find you, brother.
I'm at 380 South Lakeshore Way, which is 1792 in Lake Alfred. Phone number 863-956-4990. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate you, my friend. Well done. Great job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye, buddy. Good stuff right
I
there.
love how he calls in and he not only tells you what's biting, but where it's biting and what bait it's biting on.
Always.
It's
Always.
awesome.
Yes, he does.
Back to my comment. Why do you need a judge in Polk County?
You don't.
I mean,
you have a Grady.
Yeah. Sheriff Grady, he says it all the time. You commit a crime and you do something crazy, we're just going to kill you.
So,
why do you need a judge?
So I'm at the Polk County CCA banquet. Beth and I are there, sitting at the captain's table.
I hate this story.
Group comes up and wins.
I didn't get to be there for this.
Grady is at. This is the first time I'd ever seen the man in person. I mean, he is like
So
a rock
jealous.
star.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
would have fangirled
I'm not gonna
hard.
lie. I wanted to hug him myself, but so I mistakenly say at the table, that man needs to be president. You'd have thought I shot these people's dog. Seriously, they were like, oh, you shut your mouth. He needs to be our sheriff. Doesn't need to be president. He's our sheriff. I was like, oh, hey, okay, I get you. I mean, literally, like they were like, no. Grady,
You don't
is our
say
sheriff. Yeah, no. If he's president, he's not our sheriff. That man should be our sheriff. And
That's
that man
hilarious.
should be everyone's sheriff. Although there are some good ones. Sheriff Nocco's a stud, too.
Yeah.
Chris Nocco's a good dude.
And the one, I forget what county it is, but it's south of us. He was pretty interesting as well. I forget his name, though. There's a lot of good ones in Florida.
Yeah, there is. And we need more good ones across the country, as we've seen here recently.
We've got Florida, man. We need good sheriffs.
Yeah, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Everybody needs a good sheriff. Put a shout out to our good friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. If you need a new roof or roof repair, they understand that your roof is a large investment, protects most, if not everything, that you own. Let their 3 decades of experience and roofing knowledge guide you through this important process. Whether you need a shingle, metal, tile, or a flat roof, Affordable Roofing Systems is your safest choice for repairs or replacements. You can call Affordable Roofing Systems today at 1-888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. Super good people. Also, a quick programming note before we slide to the break. August 16th, that's this Tuesday night coming up. We're going to be out at Bartow Ford for the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. The great Captain Brett Norris will be joining us, Rock Bottom Charters. Great fisherman, literally a great fisherman, super funny. I checked with him to see, hey, buddy, you still good for Tuesday? And he goes, yeah, what's the topic? And I said, well, it's up to you, whatever you want to talk about. And he said, fly fishing Tampa Bay on a Saturday. He said it should be a quick one. So he's a very funny cat. I am looking forward to asking him some questions. We got the great people at Silver Ring Cafe. Dana, our good friend out there, serving up some Cuban sandwiches, some stuffed potatoes, and she said the devil crabs are in. So
Yes.
they will be there.
I'll be there too then.
Yes, they are fantastic, and I appreciate those of you that have been stopping by there. And she says she hears about it on the radio every week, and we appreciate that. That's why she serves the food up for us, and it's great to have that. We got Bull Bay rods, Ingle coolers, some real animal swag, lots of stuff to give away. So make sure you join us 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesday night out at Bartow Ford. Then on the 21st,
2 p.m. at Tampa Bass Pro Shops, August 21st, we'll be doing the Bass Pro Fishing Conversation, giving away free 5-hour half day for 2, 10-hour all day for 2. And then September 13th at Krabby's on the Pass, over there in Johns Pass, we're going to be having the Old Salts Fishing Conversation.
Old Salt's a great group.
Yeah, 7
really
p.m. September 13th. So mark your calendars, 3 great events coming up. Hopefully we'll see you at all 3.
We'll be back on the other side talking a little more fishing and taking your calls. Phone lines are open, 1-800-969-9352.
Hey anglers, the best fishing charters in the Bay Area out of Hubbard's Marina on the boardwalk at Johns Pass. Hubbard's Marina has been catching fish since 1928. They offer everything from family-oriented half-day trips to the more advanced overnight trips. Nobody in the business does big group party fishing like Hubbard's Marina. They also have a great tackle store that can provide live bait and
Shipment it was. I'm going to save that in my phone so that I have it. That way when I know when he's calling, I can avoid it. Just kidding. I like her. I hope she wins.
Yeah. Her or Amanda, I think, would be great. I was all about Anna, Paulina, Luna, and I had a good conversation with Amanda Mackey, and she seems like a really good option as well. So I still don't know. I really like Anna.
Suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, regardless of age or past medical history, you'll see instant results on your first visit.
I think we're in good hands. Either way.
Well, let's hope so. We need some help because our politicians currently suck. Hey, I told you I got to walk you through. Ooh. I got to get out of here real quick.
All right, I'll pop out there. Yeah.
Pre-owned vehicles will sell to our customers. If the Bartow name is on the back, you're up to the highest standard, no matter what make or model. Because, let's face it.
All right, what are y'all's questions this morning? Do we have questions? I don't see many comments on the live stream. You guys awake this morning? Good morning, Tim McCardle, Dennis Tooman, Richard Carmichael, Rick Hill. Appreciate everybody listening in this morning, hanging out with us. Facebook did another update. Screwing me up. I love it. I love when they update things and make it worse. Always a solid idea. It's like they don't test these things before they change them. Oh, and speaking of testing, the live show issues that we had last weekend look like we should be pretty much sorted through. Definitely have had great success this week on those live show tests. Internet issues seem to be behind us, and we have a brand new studio for the live show tomorrow night. So, looking forward to that. Going to be pretty cool. I haven't even seen it myself. Josh has been working on it all week. He's shown me a few things, but haven't really seen the finished product. So, you and I both are going to see the finished product Sunday night for the first time, so I'm excited. Gonna be fun. We're back.
We're back. Saturday morning Real Animals Radio Show. The Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show here on News Radio 970 WFLA. Talking fishing. And we've got another short segment before the top of the hour. We've talked a little bit about how the fishing has been hot like the weather, but it's definitely seemingly only heating up. As this week, we got a lot of that rain. I saw the watercolor change a lot. Did you see that on the water inshore too?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, it seemed like it went from really clear to all of a sudden we got those huge influxes of fresh water, and that full moon incoming tide when that water started coming back in, clearer water flushing in, it seemed like it kind of made the bite change. It was an outbound bite at the beginning of the week, all the way through the middle of the week, and then it kind of switched to an inbound bite, at least in John's Pass, in my little microcosm of inshore fishing.
New moon incoming.
Full moon outgoing.
Full moon outgoing.
I know. I've heard you say that before,
yeah.
And it worked really well ahead of the full moon. But I feel like with all that rain on the backside, like right on and after the full moon.
I think we had some weird weather. I really do, because it got breezy. You know, there's some stuff. There was some stuff going on frontal wise there that just was
messed it up.
I don't know that it messed it up, but I mean, when it's blowing, you know, there was a couple days there was blowing a steady, 14 in the morning, 15 in the morning, and I think with all the runoff and the things getting stirred up a little bit, this is an algae-heavy time of year in the water anyway. That's why we love the winter. That's why when those water temps get low in the wintertime and that it really clears up and you can see the bottom in 25 foot of water in the bay that you normally can't. It's because that algae level comes down some. So I think all of that just kind of plays into it a little bit. It was an interesting week. I think next week is going to be tough. I really do. I've got 3 trips scheduled, my ring power guys, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of a grind. Yeah, that tide slows down when it's hot like this. I'm going to be snapper fishing a bunch, bottom fishing in deeper water. Just changes things up. Again,
dude, the mangroves are so thick. It's ridiculous.
They are, and I have not been very good mangrove Mike here lately. My mangrove bite has been off. Now, I haven't done and there's no reason, there hasn't been a great reason for me to do it unless the tides are just terrible because the redfish bite's been so good. So
I have good faith in our mangrove fishery over the next couple of years. I mean, I've never, ever seen it like we're seeing it the last couple of weeks around the docks. I mean, you could darn near walk across the mangroves, and they're like pelicans now. The boat backs in, and we're offloading guests, and the mangroves are coming up to the surface
to meet them.
Like they know, all right, the boat backed in, something's about to happen. Right. It's crazy, man. There's awesome. Clouds of them.
Awesome.
It's really intense how many small 6 to 10 inch fish are there, and then some big ones mixed in. So I have high hopes for our mangrove snapper fishery.
Well, we're hoping that this fishery in general just keeps improving. I've got my Real Animals Junior Pro Staff Award ceremony for our summer tournament going on today at Gator Gyms from 10 to noon.
Great location.
If you want to stop by and see us down there at Gator Gyms, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive. We're going to give out all 6 places for our awards, plus award our grand champion winners this year who will get to fish on an episode of Real Animals TV in season 17 with me. So it'll be fun. Miss Beth will be there, and it'll be good. I'm going to take Miss Beth out on the boat this afternoon and put her in a bikini and just sit and
enjoy the day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all good stuff. Lots of good stuff to talk about. Phone lines are open here, 1-800-969-9352. Bring it. Let's talk a little fishing. We'll be back.
The preceding program was paid for by Real Animals Fishing.
WFLA Tampa, WXTVH.
Bite usually slow during the 1 to 3 days after the full moon.
Typically, maybe not 1 to 3 days, but the immediately behind a full moon or on a full moon, the daytime offshore bite can be slow, can be real slow.
I think the inshore bite is a little bit slow as well.
1 to 2 days before a full moon, typically the bite's pretty good.
Yeah. Backside of the moon gets you a little bit.
One day before, after, on, typically the daytime bite stinks.
Can get a little slower.
Yeah.
Offshore, it doesn't seem to bother it too much. On the inshore side, it seems like if it's really, really bright, it can slow it down a little bit. But if you've got moving water on the inshore side, you can always find a bite. Yeah, it's but the couple days after the moon are the ones that get you. And I don't know if it's that ramped up feeding for all those nights in a row that sooner or later it catches up to you.
It's like before the moon, you can time it. Like the bite's gonna be pretty good, and then it kind of gets soft, and that's expected. But the backside of the moon is always really difficult.
Yeah.
Because it could be really, really good, or it could be really, really slow.
Yeah.
I think around on and a few days behind the full moon, it's hero or zero. It seems like you're either on them or you're not. And
I have to work quite a bit harder on the week. Where you have those what I call quarter moon tides. You just have to work harder. You have to think more on your feet out there. You have to be bobbing and weaving and snapper fish and triple tail and maybe mackerel fish some. Waiting for tides to get just right in those areas where you've been catching redfish can be a little tough. Yeah. So, but it's a beautiful thing about fishing. I tell people all the time that even if you call me and say, hey, I want to go fishing in March, give me the best days. I can get in the book and I can find the perfect tide and we can get to them tides and the weather's perfect. Like I can't draw it up any better. Got a little spring warm up in March. The redfish and the snook are creeping everywhere. Things are starting to come alive. It'll be beautiful. And the bite will be terrible. Or I could tell you, hey, we should not go fishing tomorrow. The weather's terrible. We got a front coming. Backside of this front, it's going to shut them down. Don't go fishing. And I've had people beg me, no, take us fishing. We don't care. Take us fishing. Okay. And I take them, and the bite is stupid good.
Yeah.
And the whole time they're looking at me like, really, bro? Rod's bent. Like, you didn't want to come today? This wasn't a good idea. I'm like, by the book.
And that's
it
why they
should
call
not
it
be
fishing.
good.
Yeah, that's why they call it fishing. And that's why you shouldn't focus or get lost on all those different variables that people spend too much time on. I mean, it really doesn't matter. The moon phase, the time of year, the water temperature, because fish are fish. Fish move, they have tails, and they get hungry. And it's really hard. There's not a definite science behind whether or not a fish is going to bite. And sometimes you can trick them into biting. That's why they call it fishing.
Go fishing.
Yeah, the trick is to get out there on the water. If you're not too busy, go fishing. And I mean, it's people ask all the time, what's the best time of year to fish? That's a Costa Rica episode.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I could already tell.
Oh, yeah. Cholo.
Mm-hmm.
Cholo and my bride.
Well, I saw Crocodile Bay.
Yeah, my bride.
I saw the mountain background.
My bride's hot.
Beth is a really nice lady. Oh, look at all those porpoise, baby.
Yeah.
Tuna. This is a new Costa Rica episode.
Oh, yeah, this was, you just aired this season.
We're watching Mike on TV. For those on the live stream
WMR.
who wonder what we're watching. WMRR, Real Animals TV is on right now.
7 a.m.
He's showing the secret tuna bait.
Oh.
Secret tuna fry bait.
I had never seen those red baits in the water like they were. As soon as Cholo saw them, he knew he's like, it's going to be a tough bite. He said they're feeding on them little bitty baits.
I know what you're talking about, tuna. I've seen them offshore before.
Yeah, some kind of little red. I can't remember what he called them now. I'm sure I say it in the show because Cholo was right there in my ear with it. We got a second show on that trip that we're going to air in season 17.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you ever done any inshore fishing there?
Just on the beaches for roosters, not anything in the back.
Like snook fishing?
Which to me is it's the biggest thing that Greg's missing over there.
Yeah.
Dude, I got news for you. If I had my 25 Contender Bay in the Gulf of Dolce and could just take some jigs and bounce them down those rock walls, could you imagine what you'd catch?
I can't.
It's got to be stupid.
Yeah.
Dude, you could put that thing on spot lock and let me just jig that with some freaking bucktail jigs or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't even throw a bucktail. I'd be throwing that like 8-inch crystal minnow down that wall, you know?
You
or
could
a
throw
big bomber.
You could throw a bunch of stuff. I mean, you could drop a provoker down there. I mean, you could, dude, we'd have a field day.
That's how you know we're back on. There's the disclaimer.
Incorporated.
Welcome to the Bartow Ford Real Animals Radio Show, your weekly voyage into Florida fishing. Presented by Hubbard's Marina, hosted by Captain Mike Anderson and Captain Dylan Hubbard.
I'm a little hard on corporate America sometimes. I know most of you will find that hard to believe, but
no,
I got to give them credit. The disclaimer's brilliant. I totally understand it. I get it. I do. I understand it more on the Sunday show where Mike Mahoney could
100%
at any time get us in big trouble with the FCC. But
I get you pretty worked up sometimes. So
you do.
I understand it.
You do. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Going to take this opportunity to put a big shout out to one of our new sponsors here and on the Sunday show. Actually teamed up here with Real Animals pretty heavy. Our good friends at Lithium Battery Power. You know, lithium batteries are taking the marine scene by storm. Nobody's doing a better job than my good friends at Lithium Battery Power. They're in Clearwater. They offer lightweight, reliable, and efficient lithium batteries for boats, kayaks, golf carts, and everything in between. They're a family-run and veteran-owned company that stands behind their batteries with a 10-year warranty and 5-year replacement guarantee. Check them out today at lithiumbatterypower.com or give them a call at 727-223-9831 and find out for yourself why Lithium Battery Power is the only way to go. Lithium batteries are definitely changing the game.
What was the coolest part about that show? Because last weekend, Saturday, we mentioned it, but then Sunday, those guys from Lithium Battery Power were on the Sunday morning Real Animal show, and I was listening in. The coolest thing that they talked about was the fact that they can make custom dimension batteries.
Yeah.
So you have a certain vessel that you're like, oh, I can't get a normal battery. I got a weird battery hold or whatever. They can literally make whatever battery you need to whatever dimension, size, power, amperage that you need. Pretty cool option that they have.
Mahoney is celebrating like 30 years of marriage to his bride, like for the whole month apparently, because he's like gone for a month.
He's very into live, love, laugh. And,
yeah, he is.
And
He's
all
actually
those pretty
shopping for
things.
some new decor at his place.
Yeah.
In the live,
He
love,
was
laugh
purse
store.
shopping yesterday when I talked to him on the phone.
Right. So he actually called me, and I was telling him the craziest part of that show last Sunday was Captain Ben Marshall got sick, so Ben was out. So I had the Lithium Battery Power guys, which was just fortunate. I was already set up to have guests, so it was great. For 2 hours straight,
you talked about batteries.
We talked about batteries.
And it was interesting.
We had calls the whole time about lithium batteries. So this stuff is really, really...
I listened for like an hour and a half of that show. It was very interesting.
It's the rage. It's something you got to check out because they're changing the game for sure. And again, great company, family run, veteran owned. You know, just great stuff. So,
extremely light.
Yes, want to put a huge shout out to another new sponsor here at Real Animals Radio on our Saturday morning show here. Our safe boating tip of the week is now brought to you by the good people at Milwaukee Tool. Can't imagine why the cheesehead would think that's so cool, but I do.
And the Florida guy thinks it's really cool too.
Yeah, we are sponsored by Milwaukee Tool here.
I feel like I'm someone.
If you are looking to make your life easier, be able to spend a little more time on the water doing your at-home chores, your things around the house you got to do, check out Milwaukee Tool. They'll definitely help you get it done faster and better to spend more time on the water. So let's go to Captain Jim Fogel with our Milwaukee Tool Safe Boating Tip of the Week. Captain Jim Fogel, U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary Captain Extraordinaire. How are you, my friend?
Hey, great, guys. Great. Good show this morning.
Thank you.
Good show. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got let's see. Now, I don't know how updated this is, but yesterday there was a lost mariner off of Collier County. A prominent doctor from down there was boating evidently by himself in a 33-foot boat, his boat, and it was found floating off of Sanibel. So there was a big search on yesterday. Hopefully they found him. Off New Smyrna Beach last weekend, a 60-year-old gentleman was 69 miles off the coast by himself when his boat capsized and sank. But the good news is he had his EPIRB and his life raft, and they found him right away, and everything's all good. So the guys that fish offshore, or you fish at night, or you just fish outside of land, these gadgets we've got, these electronics we've got, these VHF radios, handheld radios, and personal locator beacons are saving lives every day, and it's cheap insurance, guys, cheap. Also, last weekend, off of Miami Beach, Coast Guard rescued 4 people on a boat when it capsized, but they kept their cool. They all had their life jackets on. They got their Mayday off, and they had a personal or locator beacon, so they got saved also.
Nice.
So these things work.
Yeah, they do save lives.
Absolutely. So, if you haven't gotten what you need to be offshore, you give us a call. We'll tell you what you need, and we want you to come home safe and sound every time you go out. Appreciate the time, guys.
Nice job, Jimmy.
Hey, appreciate it.
For the Coast Guard Auxiliary in St. Pete, Jim Fogle. Be safe out there.
Thank you, my brother. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, that is brought to you by our good friends at Milwaukee Tool. So we're super excited to have Milwaukee Tool on board. As we often say, make sure you
go ahead.
Spend some money with those that support the fishing business here. Again, like our good friends out at Bartow Ford, well, we'll be this Tuesday night hanging out with Captain Brett Norris, doing the Real Animals Bartow Ford fishing conversation. Can't wait to get out there. I really can't wait to pick up the Cubans and stuffed potatoes and devil crab from Dana and Silver Ring Cafe there in Riverview. That's going to be yummy. And I love giving away cool stuff, Fingal coolers and Bull Bay rods and all that good stuff. Lots of cool stuff coming out of Bull Bay rods. I had a meeting with them this week, and we are taking the Real Animal Signature Series and refacing it. It was weird. I had, within 24 hours, we had a meeting to change, and the Signature Series has been kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of came out with it, and we tweaked it a little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's been the same for like 7 years now. And they wanted to have a meeting about changing it. I'm not sure how. I think Dustin wasn't real sure how I was going to feel about it, but going to a colored blank and just some stuff, like, I don't know, Big Mike doesn't like change. This might not go well.
Don't fix what's not broken now.
I was already all into it, and when we started talking about it, we came out.
Is it going to be a pink blank?
Ice blue, actually, not pink.
Darn it.
Actually, their number one custom color
is pink.
Is ice blue.
Oh,
not pink.
All right. Not Booyah Royalty Purple.
I really talked you up at the meeting too. I don't know why. I don't
Ice
know why.
blue, huh?
Yeah.
Is that like a periwinkle blue?
No, it's ice blue. Jackwagon.
I have no idea what that means.
I don't either. But
what's an ice blue?
Ice blue, like the color of my
the
boat.
Ice is clear, dog.
Yeah, it's not clear. It's ice blue. The number one selling color in bay boats in Florida is ice blue. You should.
I guess I should know what ice blue is then.
Yeah, I guess if you just really only hang out on 50-foot boats, then you should know. Yeah.
Number one selling color of boats are blood red. That's the color that hides blood.
Nice.
It's the way I like the boat. Blood red.
Nice. Phone lines are open. 1-800-969-9352. One of the questions that Dylan thought might be a good topic for today would be, are you guys using more mono or fluoro?
I like how
days?
you prefaced it with Dylan thought. Like, if you think this isn't a good idea,
I wasn't going to take credit. I think it is a good idea, but I wasn't going to take credit for the question when you came up with it.
All right.
That's called giving your partner credit for what the effort he put in. I didn't come up with the question. You did. So I thought it was great.
Mono or fluoro? Which one and why? Are you a diehard fluoro user? Are you diehard mono only?
I'm a diehard fluoro guy, but you had some good points in our discussion there at the break on
You never know. I mean, everybody has their own personal opinion. I was diehard fluoro for a long time, but I've kind of gone back a little bit mono. Technology's changed a lot.
You said the Salt Strong guys did a little testing on it, huh?
Yeah, they did a lot of testing, Joe and Luke and some of their guys over at Salt Strong, about which disappears in the water. Is it worth spending the extra money for fluoro? And they basically found that it's very similar. It's very similar. And I don't want to give away too much because you should definitely watch it on Salt Strong. But, yeah, it's very similar, basically, mono versus fluoro. But fluoro is harder. It's more abrasion resistant. But through technology, a lot of mono has kind of come up to meet that. So which one do you use and why? Which one's your favorite, mono or fluoro? Call us, let us know, 1-800-969-9352. We want to hear from you.
You use a little bit of both.
Use a little bit of both. I mean, most of the time, offshore fishing wise, we've got a mono spool and then fluorocarbon leader. Some applications you're using braid offshore. Don't really recommend it unless you're very experienced and you're fishing super deep water. Then braid becomes more important. Or especially if you're like doing something unique like the slow pitch jig fishing, then you need the braid. Generally, you have a little bit of backing just because you don't want to fill a whole spool full of braid because it gets expensive. But I like filling my spools with braid, just especially slow pitch jigging, because it's a small spool. I want more line capacity. So I fill it full of braid and then have a short top shot. And generally that's going to be mono and then a leader of fluorocarbon. If I'm bait fishing, if I'm just slow pitch jig fishing, it's all braid to a short fluoro leader. So I always still use fluoro leaders personally, but there's a lot of good monos out there. Berkeley Pro Spec is awesome. Andy Gray was always a big winner. Diamond, Momoy Diamond, that dark blue one is a really, really good one, the gray. There's a lot of great monos out there on the market, and the technology continues to improve and make it very equitable between mono and fluoro. But we want to hear from you and your opinion.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. I don't, I mean, I'm pretty much a fluoro guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I use mono for is backing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's important. You use backing on spinning rods?
Sometimes. On some of my bigger stuff, like my offshore stuff, I will, where you're, I mean.
It gets expensive.
Those are some pretty big spools, so sometimes I will. And I use almost braid exclusively offshore, too. But I don't tournament fish. If you get like around Jim Nassett, the Pro Marine guys. Speaking of the Pro Marine guys, I got to put a shout out to Kyle and them getting me in quick on a 100-hour this week was great. I had a cancellation and Kyle got me in for my 100-hour, which was awesome. But how about this? I was talking to Jim Nassett. Did you see the picture of the 114-pound wahoo they caught?
No.
114.
Wow.
It looked like it ate a small child.
That's
Seriously,
crazy.
I was like, that is.
Well, we caught that 96-pounder with Mahoney that day, and I stuck that fish, and I thought that was a 140-pounder. So I can't imagine what a 114 looked like. And then Cameron Kirkconnell and his friends were down off of like Fiji or something. The spear fishermen, they speared a 120-pound wahoo.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
God love him.
If I saw a 120-pound wahoo with a spear gun in my hand, I'd been like, all right, dude, have a good day.
Yeah.
I'm going this way. You go that way.
Right, yeah. Let's work together here. Let's be friends. Wow. I couldn't believe how big it was. When Jim sent me the picture, I'm like, this thing is absolutely
a beast.
114 pounds. Now, 96 is a beast. It's a monster. I can't even imagine trying to stick that fish, but 114.
I'd be interested to find out what Jim Nassett and the Pro Marine guys considered to be. I know they have to have braided line in their reels, but I bet they're using a pretty long stretch of mono.
No, they don't fish braid at all.
They don't fish. See,
it's all mono.
I see that.
The kingfish. That's what led me to the Pro Marine thing. That's why my ADD kicked over. Well, the other thing is a violent strike. When those strikes happen really, really fast like that, you have to have that stretch. Braid gives you no stretch. You'd have so many of those fish would get off, especially the 50s and 60-pound kingfish that they catch.
And that's how we caught that big wahoo, that 96-pound wahoo, 20-pound mono.
Yeah.
If we had braid on that reel, I don't know if it would have gone the same way.
Yeah,
probably would have pulled those hooks.
Yeah, it probably would have. I mean, you just don't get any give. Braid doesn't give you any stretch. Now, I like it, for bottom fishing because I think you just turn. You don't get the stretch when you. But I know
it's not the best.
I agree. I'm not out there enough, so I would take that. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, a guy who's out there eating it, living it, breathing it.
Gives you more sensitivity, but if you have the right rod. Like if you have one of those custom Bull Bay Hubbard's Marina rods or a high-end bottom fishing rod, you do not need braid.
Yeah, interesting stuff. We'll talk more about that and taking your calls on the other side. 1-800-969-9352. We'll be back. Gills Apparel was started by anglers looking for one thing: performance. Stylish, lightweight, comfortable.
All mono. I would have thought the tournament boys had at least braid backing because you want the ability to make sure you have enough line capacity. But I guess they're tournament fishing, so if they hook a fish, they retrieve all the other lines and then they chase it. So that makes sense. I guess you wouldn't need braid backing because you're not worried about line capacity. You're not going to let that fish get close to spooling you. Interesting.
You had 4 or 5 guys, one guy running the boat and another 4 guys on the boat clearing lines. The minute somebody's on the rod and somebody's clearing lines, and the same guy gets on the rod every time. The rod that goes off, same guy gets on the rod every time.
Really?
Same guy drives. One guy ties all the knots. That way, if there's a failure, they know right where to go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, one guy ties everything.
Tournament fishing is so serious.
It's a very interesting. With the times I've had Jim Nassett in here and talked to him about it, it's really interesting. And it makes sense. If you're going to be good at that, you have to be in tune with one another. You have to have everything laid out a certain way.
Same guys on the rod every time.
Yep.
What's that like to be the designated fisherman?
Unless it's just
designated
unless
angler.
by chance somebody doesn't feel good or they're on the total other side of the boat and they just don't get a chance. I think Jim said it's the same guy on the rod. They want the same guy fighting the fish. They almost always have the same guy driving.
That's interesting.
Yep.
That's really
Everybody
cool.
has a job.
Yeah.
Well,
and then it's muscle memory. You fall into your job, and you guys are used to communicating
You
with each other.
You do your job.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Well, and
it's just like a football team.
Whatever-
Quarterback's not going to be a wide receiver.
Whatever way that Pro Marine does it,
it works.
That's the way you should do it. That's just how it should be, apparently. Hey, there's Benny Jr. on TV.
There he is. There's a pink Ford. You see that? There's a pink truck. You know what the #1 selling car color is? Hot pink. Whatever. #1 selling Ford truck color.
Hot pink.
Those are Dodge trucks.
Power pole down.
Yeah, we got to turn this off, man. All these yellowfin tuna making me crazy over here. Why'd you throw that yellowfin back?
I thought it was a bonita.
No, that was a yellowfin.
It must have been too small.
New jig skins.
Miraloa. The record setters.
The record setters and record holders.
Matapalo Rock.
Yeah, Crocodile Bay, baby. Ooh, Seawall tournament in Madeira Beach this morning. There we go.
This is Alec Baldwin. I'd like to invite you to listen to my new limited series podcast about a true American hero who lived to tell the story of his
That's a cool shot.
That is a cool shot. What is that? All the bait?
No, it's for the rocks.
Oh.
We were fishing inshore here for roosters.
Are you casting over those rocks or trolling over them?
Just dropping.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm following more and more all those people that like travel the world to fish these slow pitch jigs and the casting, and like Cameron Kirkconnell and his buddies traveling for spearfishing. It'd be so much fun. Go to like the Maldives or something like that. Drop jigs. I'd love, if I ever go back to Costa Rica with you, I'm going to ask the captain to do a day of jigging. That'd be fun. Come back with a 120-pound mystic.
Welcome back. 726 here at the iHeart Media Empire. Your questions, comments, fishing reports, bring them right here. 1-800-969-9352. Again, a couple of programming notes. We're going to be out at Bartow Ford this Tuesday night coming up here, the 16th. From 6 to 8 p.m., the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. Captain Brett Norris, Rock Bottom Charters is joining us. Dana at Silver Ring Cafe is serving up some Cubans, some stuffed potatoes, some devil crab. We got Ingle coolers, Bull Bay rods, real animal swag to give away. It's going to be a big old time. Come on out and see us out there at Bartow Ford. It's going to be a good one. Again, 6 to 8 p.m. Then on the 21st at 2 p.m., D-Hubs is going to be doing it up at Bass Pro Shop there in Brandon. You don't want to miss that. That'll be a good one as well. And then September 13th at 7 p.m., D-Hubs is doing the Old Salts gig there at Krabby's on the Pass. That'll be a good one as well. So make sure you put all of that in your calendar. Stop by and see us. Love to have you guys. Mono or fluoro kind of was the question.
Which one and why?
It just so happens this week's episode on WMOR is Costa Rica. And, all mono in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all mono on everything in Costa Rica. So
interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Great place, Zancudo Lodge
it's making me very hungry.
Golfito, Costa Rica was a incredible trip again we had. And we got another episode of that's going to air here in season 17, which I start filming for later this month. I will be in Venice, Louisiana later this month with Captain Ryan Rickard. Do a little.
Sounds like fun.
It is. It should be a good time. It's going to be hot, but that's when the big bombers come in.
Bring me back some Boonan.
Some Boonan?
Yes, please.
I could do that.
I had a guest who was watching our live show, and I was talking about it, and he was coming into town from Freshwater Parish area, and he brought some fresh Boonan, like a couple packets of it. It was awesome.
Really? What is Boonan?
Boonan
sausage?
is a kind of a Cajun specialty. It's made like sausage, but it's not really technically sausage. It's a variety of different meats and then like a rice mixture, and then a bunch of Cajun seasoning. So it's like it's like a sausage, but it has like rice in it.
So it's in a sausage like casing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Yeah. But you don't cook it like sausage. You got to put some water to it because it's got rice in it.
Okay.
So I followed his directions and put it in a tin foil pack with some water in it and put it on the grill. So kind of like sausage, but a little unique.
Was it good?
It wasn't good, man. It was great.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So now I really want more Boonan.
He's lit up like a Christmas tree over here. 1-800-969-9352. One more big segment here this morning. So your questions, comments, fishing reports, bring them right here. We'll be back 970 WFLA. That was a good episode, actually. It's not a bad show. Lots of good visuals.
Yeah. Not a bad show.
But hey,
not our best. I'm going to hit the head real quick. Do you want me to leave this on?
Yeah, you can.
I'll be right back.
You can. I'll talk about politics while you're gone. Oh, too funny. Dylan living on the edge, leaving me alone with our viewers this morning. I just said Dylan's living on the edge, leaving us alone, leaving me alone with our viewers. I could say
that's
fool's
folly.
Unsupervised. Could get a little crazy in here.
The inmate just took over the asylum.
Let's talk about the FBI. Exactly. Breaking news. We're covered in. Yeah. I've heard of it. I've heard it.
It sounds like a Cajun hot dog.
I've been there a bunch, so I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever had it. I'm gonna have to try to have some Boonan this trip.
It's the first I've ever heard of it. I mean, I can't think of a more Cajun sounding name.
Yep. A lot about that Cajun trip is good stuff.
How often do you get up to go to Louisiana, or more?
I try to film. I try to film there once a year usually.
Do you have a preferred spot?
In Louisiana?
or just anywhere in the Gulf?
No, Venice, Louisiana's. Venice is good. Delacroix is good. Homa's good. Homa,
Have you ever done one in
H-O-U-M-A.
Freshwater Bayou?
No.
So are those like on the New Orleans side or like Baton Rouge side?
It's just south of New Orleans. Venice is
Venice is
south
south.
of New Orleans. Yeah, it's the south. South is south of Louisiana.
I was gonna say I didn't know you could really get much more south than New
Oh
Orleans.
yeah, 2 hours.
New Orleans is pretty far north.
It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours
It's kinda
south.
like in the mouth of the.
Yeah, it's way down in the bayou. We get down into there ain't nothing there. There's
Is it
nothing
New
there but
Orleans?
oil. People working on the oil fields. That's it.
Yeah, New Orleans is still a river. When you get out to Venice, it's just like marsh. It's the mouth of the river, the delta, of the Mississippi. So, yeah, but Freshwater Bayou is western Louisiana, and there is no one out there.
What's the best catch up there?
There's everything. Yellowfin tuna probably the.
How big do they get?
Yellowfins, they can get real big.
Yeah, they get pretty small.
200 plus.
I mean, even somebody like me who knows next to nothing about the fishing still, I've heard of yellowfin too.
It's a really, it's an impressive fishery all the way around. We've hooked marlin out there, and they deep drop for big old swordfish, and the inshore.
I'm concerned trying to go after those guys just because of the added risk.
Of what?
The swordfish and the marlin. Those guys. If something goes wrong, man, you can end up on the wrong
End of the bill. You've been watching too
I was
many TikTok
I was
videos.
gonna say the same thing. I'm like, yeah, that's
That's very rare.
Very rare, dude.
I was gonna say that's probably a rookie mistake.
Yeah, it's just you got to be extremely unlucky to get pummeled by a marlin. Extremely unlucky. You're just like, okay, it's my time to go.
I'll never forget in.
We were just talking about the FBI before you came back.
Oh, I figured as much. In Ecuador. So I've been fishing quite a few times trying to hunt after a marlin. Never successfully leader touched one, but I've seen them quite a bit. On our honeymoon, we were in St. Lucia, and I had one jump right behind the spread. And then in Ecuador, we were on like the boat that shouldn't be out in the in the Caribbean, and we took like this little, like what you would find in a swimming pool, like rowboat. Like it was way too small for me to be sitting in, especially with two other people.
Like a kayak.
And then we loaded up on this like 21-foot boat. Oh man, it was interesting, but had a marlin jump probably 8 feet behind the stern, right across the whitewater prop wash. It was huge. I'll never forget it. So I've never actually successfully landed one, but been awfully close to them before. That was
I've
pretty
never
memorable.
landed one either. I wanted marlins on my list too.
Yeah.
I'd like to catch a marlin. I'd like to catch a wahoo. I don't have either one of those.
Wahoo are awesome. Beautiful fish.
I've caught some African pompano.
What about a cubera?
I have no cubera still. Still cubera-less.
Ask him about his wife's catching them. Beth has got one.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, she has. Actually, last trip to Costa Rica, we were bottom fishing, and I thought all the way up that it was going to be cubera, and it was not.
What was it?
I can't remember now, but it wasn't, and I'm so mad because I wanted it to be a cubera real bad.
Dude, I think if I went back there, like I said, I'd bring those jigs with me, and I'd be jig fishing the whole time. Especially just the mouth of Crocodile Bay. That big wall, I bet you could jig up everything you wanted right there.
Montepalo Rock, we fished Montepalo and caught some really nice fish, blue trevalles and big jacks, big jack crevalle. I mean,
yeah, we hooked a monster jack when we were bait fishing last time.
Beth was mad as hell because she hooked one and fought it and fought it and fought it. And she's like, I can catch this in Florida. My back hurts now. Welcome back. Putting another shout out to our good friends at Affordable Roofing Systems. Again, whether you need a new roof or a roof repair, whether you need a shingle, metal tile, or a flat roof, Affordable Roofing Systems is your safest choice for repairs or replacements. They're defined by integrity, respect, and honesty, and have a personalized and professional approach to doing business. Call Affordable Roofing Systems today at 1-888-397-ROOF for your free estimate, or visit them online at affordableroofingflorida.com. Also putting a shout out to our good friends at Lithium Battery Power. You know, lithium batteries are taking the marine scene by storm, and nobody's doing it better than our good friends at Lithium Battery Power in Clearwater. They offer lightweight, reliable, and efficient lithium batteries for boats, kayaks, golf carts, and everything in between. They're a family-run and a veteran-owned company that stands behind their batteries with a 10-year warranty and 5-year replacement guarantee. Check them out today at lithiumbatterypower.com or give them a call at 727-223-9831 and find out for yourself why Lithium Battery Power is the only way to go.
Hey, so we got a good question on the stream here.
Okay, come on.
If we don't have a caller.
We do have one. We got a caller, but we'll go to the question first, and then we'll go to Captain Rick Gross.
Pretty good question here. And this one will be a good one for Captain Rick Gross, too. Pose it to him as well. But what is your favorite knot? Since we talked a little bit about braid, what's your favorite knot for a line-to-line knot, braid to mono or braid to fluoro?
I am the simplest knot person you've ever talked to. It is. It's exactly what I use.
Got it right out of his mouth. Yeah. But I'm the same way. If I'm tying a fluoro or mono leader to braid and it doesn't have to go through the eyes of the rod and reel, it's always going to be a double uni. Simple, fast, it's strong.
Yeah.
But if it's got to go through the guides, so if I'm tying on a top shot, a double uni is not a good idea because it's such a big knot. Yeah. So I would use a reverse Albright. The PR bobbin knot is really the best, but it takes a lot of effort, and I'm still not real good at that one. But the FG knot is probably, I would say, the most popular. But the answer to the question, my favorite go-to would be the reverse Albright if it has to go through the guides, or the double uni if it doesn't have to.
I like it. Let's go to the phones here quick. Check in with Captain Rick Gross. Captain Rick, what is your favorite go-to line to line, braid to fluorocarbon, braid to leader line that you use?
What I use majority of the time, because it's easy, is a uni. I mean, that's what I use majority of the time. Now, just like what Dylan was saying, there's some different applications where I want to tie a different knot, but day in and day out, that uni to uni is hard to beat.
Then how do you tie your hooks on? Are you a loop knot guy, or?
It depends. Like if I'm fishing lures, a lot of times I'll tie a loop knot because I want the lure to have more action,
a little more wiggle.
Like if you're using a plug, something that has its own type of action itself, I leave that loop knot in there so it kind of gives it a little bit more action.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm fishing live bait or whatever, sometimes I just don't even pay any attention to it. I used to tie a fisherman's knot all the time, but now, or an improved clinch knot. But I tie that uni for the leader, so I just tie the uni right to the hook. And sometimes you can cinch that uni down and leave a loop in it, and then if you get a big fish, it'll just tighten down to the hook too.
There you go.
Good stuff. How's your bite over there, Rick?
I don't know if I want to say, because I don't want it to go away.
So it's really good.
It has this past week and a half has been really, really good. And just like I know Mike was saying, Mike says the bite's not going to be good this next week. And I'm like, yeah, I know we're going to be on the other side of the moon. I says, that's why he's saying that. I'm hoping he's wrong.
I hope so too. I hope so too, because it's been so good, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah. But I
doubt.
tell you, the go-to bait has been pinfish. Pinfish is still the go-to bait. I'm not chopping their heads off and throwing up next to the trees. I'm actually fishing the flats and some open water, but I like to use corks, and I like to change the colors of the corks up so that, if I don't know the guy's name, I can say the yellow cork is gone, or the green cork is gone, or the red cork is gone.
Red cork guy.
But, yeah.
Giving away your secrets.
And, even with the corks, though, I have 3 foot a leader on there, and it happens to be fluorocarbon. And then I take and put a split shot right close to the hook for redfish with pinfish, or if I happen to throw a dean on there to get it down, even though we're only fishing in a couple feet of water.
Yeah,
interesting.
So that seems to make a difference. I mean, it really does for redfish, is getting that bait down.
Do you think it has anything to
belly and put a split shot on there, and and a lot of times when I'm fishing the trees, if all I have is sardines, I'll cut their tails off.
But I think that split shot is slowing that pinfish down too. I mean, and you just kind of trumped it a little bit by saying, the clipping of the tail on the whitebait, because again, you want them to be just slowed down a little bit, because the effort level that you're getting out of your fish in 90-degree water isn't what it is when that water temp is 80 degrees. So I think that's the key, is just slowing things down. I caught some fish on the beach here the last week or 10 days or so, and those fish on the beach, everything was on a weight. I caught everything weighted down a little bit, just a little quarter-ounce slip, or a big split shot. Just slow that bait down a little bit. Again, we were in a little bit of water too. We were probably in 6 foot of water out on the beach. But slowing that bait down and pinning it down, making it easier for those fish to kind of swim over there and get a hold of it, I think is making a big difference.
Well, and then the other thing, you guys have been talking about fluoro and mono, and it really depends on what application you're using that for. I mean, to begin with, a lot of guys that I had, I was using leader material, and for leader, I was using big game, the green, which is like an off-colored green. It looks like sea green. That's what I was using in about 25-pound test I used for leader for years. And the guys came on there, and when fluoro came out, and Rick, you're not using fluoro. You're not using fluoro. And I said, well, let's do an experiment, and I put fluoro on 3 of the rods, and I put the big game Berkeley on 3 of the other rods. And by the end of the day, you couldn't, as far as the bite, it didn't seem to matter. Now, the fish might have just been biting that day, but some days, at least for your leader material, I use fluoro a lot for leader material. But like if you're fishing, I don't know if you check with Larry Mastery, he still uses fiberglass rods and mono for kingfish and Spanish mackerel. And it's so that you got that spring in your line.
Yeah, yeah. The great Larry Mastery. Legendary.
Oh, yeah. When Larry Mastery talks, everybody should listen.
Yeah, no doubt. 100%. No doubt. He's been a great guest here. Great report, Rick. Tell everybody how they can find you down there in Sarasota, Bradenton, and get a trip with one of the best.
I still think the best way is go through Real Animals, and my webpage is fishybusinessllc.com.
I think that's one of the greatest charter names ever. Fishy Business. I love it. It's great. Good job, Rick. Great report. Always good to hear your voice. You and your bride have a great weekend, my friend.
Oh, we will. Thank you.
All right, brother. I like that. Oh, we will. He knows it. He knows it. He's good people. Such a good guy. Such a great charter captain. Been doing it forever at a crazy high level. Just really
knows his stuff.
And I'm telling you, one of those guys, again, the fishing business has a lot of them. Great fisherman, even a better dude. He's a good dude. So let's go to Ray in Tarpon Springs. Ray, how can we help you this morning?
Hey, have a novice question for you. My wife was nice enough to buy me a new Penn Fathom, a 2-speed reel. I've never used it before. And I did use it this year a couple times. I got kind of confused when I was in the rocks with the grouper and stuff of when to switch to low to high gear. And I went to the Hubbard's site. They have some pretty informative stuff. I just kind of got confused with that.
Yeah, no, I think we could probably use another video on that one specifically, but it's really, really tricky to go from single speed fishing with a star drag to a 2-speed lever drag. I will tell you right off the bat, you're going to lose some fish dialing this in. But,
that's what I did quite a bit. I was getting frustrated. I stopped using it, actually.
Yeah, and it does take some practice. It's very similar to me of when we switched from mono to braid offshore. When braid came on the market, everybody started switching to it, and you'd miss and lose a lot of fish because it didn't have stretch. And we had to learn over time, you got to use a long top shot. And then just eventually a lot of people just went back to mono because in reality it's a lot better for bottom fishing for that reason. It doesn't have the stretch. And the same thing with the 2-speed reels. It really is tricky. I personally start in 2-speed. I fish in 2-speed, in the higher speeds, excuse me. So I fish in higher gear, and the reason is I want to be able to retrieve and set the hook really quickly and retrieve a lot of line as fast as I can when I get that bite. But you start reeling and all of a sudden you're not gaining line and you really get bowed over and you're getting taken to school. That's when I downshift to second gear or lower gear, and then I have more cranking power. But learning how to crank really fast and then switch to low gear if you're not gaining any line takes a lot of practice. And that's all I can say is practice it. And once you get good at it.
I would sure love to see a video. If you guys do some really great videos, it'd be great to see one of those on your site there.
And it's hard.
You guys' show. I know it's kind of a stupid question, but
No, it's great. There are no stupid questions in fishing, my brother. You're learning, and that's what we're here for. We appreciate you listening, and don't be afraid to ever call.
Yeah, for sure.
All right?
You have a great day. Thank you.
You too, man.
Ray.
Thanks
great
for the
stuff.
question.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just a hard thing to do a video on because you get a bite and you're cranking like a madman, and then you have to switch gears really quick, so you wouldn't be able to see it unless it was slow mode.
Yeah,
it's tough.
We're going to go real quick here on this last call of this last big segment of the morning. Let's go to Donald in Lutz. Donald, real quick, buddy. How are you, pal?
He just got off a boat.
Doing great. Hey, Dylan, I just got off to your boat on the overnight trip, the snapper trip. I got a strawberry grouper, very cool.
Nice.
Got some nice vermilion, even a couple lane snapper. The Captain Bobby got us out to some lane snapper. There was some nice
awesome.
mangoes caught, and I was using my Penn Concord 5000 with my Star rod.
There you go.
And I did use braid. I do have a top shot on it, and caught some fish. Got a lot of fish. It was a lot of fun.
That's good stuff, man.
Good report, Donald.
The 12-hour night snapper on a full moon.
Go home and get you some sleep, and we'll get another report from you tomorrow. All right?
Yep, and I got the Michael Bublé concert tonight, so I'm going to need to rest up.
Yeah, you better get some rest, buddy. You better get some rest. Good call, Donald.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You guys take care. Have a safe day.
You too, buddy. Going to Michael Bublé.
Great singer.
Yeah,
he really is. Yeah, you're smiling.
I'm not smiling.
I like Michael Bublé.
Do you?
I don't know if I'd go to his concert, but yeah.
Well,
it's good background music. Calms the kids down.
Does it? I got you. It's all good.
Anything to calm the kids down.
You're at that stage.
Yeah.
It's all good
Bob
stuff.
Marley works really well, too.
Got one more segment here, wrapping things up. Short segment on the other side. If you want to join us, we could take a call. Maybe two. We'd have to squeeze them in, but you can get in if you want in. 1-800-969-9352. We'll be back. That show flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Flew by. Probably because the rest of my day is complete havoc.
A lot of topics, too.
Yeah.
Been all over the map.
Yeah. Got some people on the live feed telling us they're going to see us out at Bartow Ford. Hopefully we'll see all of you there as well. It's 2800 US 98 North out there in Bartow. Come on out and see us. D-Hubs is going to be there. Going to be a very cool event, as it always is. So we will we hope to see everyone there. Going to be awesome. Brett Norris is a cat. He is a card. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll be laughing, I promise you.
Yeah, I look forward to hanging out with them.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Real good dude. Really great fisherman. Really great. So,
it's always interesting the charter captains that have been in the game for a while that are successful. You could say the same thing about almost all of them. Really great charter captain, really fishy guy, but he's also a better person.
Yeah, it usually kind of
makes him last.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the big things that some guys miss in the fishing business. Just because you're a great fisherman doesn't mean you'll be a great charter captain. You have to be a people person. My bite yesterday was really tough. I mean, we had to grind for everything. You know, I think we caught 1 snapper, 2 snook. We had 3 big redfish, lost a big redfish in the trees, and like that was it. Like it was a tough 4-hour trip, but conversation was great. We had some laughs. So all that helps.
We're not in the fishing business. We're in the people business.
100%.
And if you catch a bunch of fish, that's great. But especially nowadays with the increased number of regulations, policies, just the increased number of hooks in the water, and overall pressure, you have to really be entertaining. People have to really be hooked on you and your crew to keep coming.
For sure.
That's what it's all about.
You got to really deliver
It's a people
a
business.
good experience, even when the fish aren't biting.
Yeah.
That's the hard part for a lot
We
of
always
guys.
talk about you're on stage.
Yeah.
You're on stage. It's a performance, and you got to be on your A game.
Yeah. That's why I turned mine into pretty much just 4-hour trips because I don't like being on stage.
It's funny too, because like I'll do the same thing when I'm walking through the office on the sales floor. It's you got to put on, you're on stage, and then I get into my office, and then it's like immediately like you just take a deep breath. The door closes and it's different.
Yep.
Walking behind stage, backstage.
Welcome back, 7:53 here, the iHeartMedia Empire. Let's take a quick phone call here before we wrap things up and talk to the man, the myth, the legend.
Scott Moore.
No, not that one. He is, though. He's the man, the myth, the legend as well. Come on.
You guys put me in with Scott
Oh,
Moore.
Mike Mesra.
Mike Mesra. Yeah, he who shoots things often. How are you, buddy?
I do. Well, you know what? Today we've got the Italian Club shoot.
Nice.
And I'm actually going to shoot. I need to go find my gun because I actually forgot where it is because I haven't shot in such a long time. Hopefully I remember how to load it.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a great shoot. Go ahead.
Hopefully you remember how to load it. You would think that that would be
It's
something.
muscle memory
Yeah,
at this point.
You'll be fine, buddy. I think you can.
It's like
figure it
riding
out.
a bike.
I don't shoot that often is what's crazy. So I'm actually looking forward to shooting. These guys have got Italian sausage planned, a bunch of pasta. I think they're doing something with Picados today too.
Did you get the invite?
I did
Did you?
not. Mine
Did you
must have
send
got
that?
lost in the
Did you
mail.
send that invite via email or something, and we just didn't get it? Is that how that?
Well, you know why? Because you guys work on the weekends like I did. So it's
That's
hard.
true. That is true.
You know?
Very true, my friend.
I know. Anyway, everything's good. We're changing around some courses. We're working on moving yellow and pink around a little bit, and of course, our new orange and purple course are just kicking it. We've got Rough Riders shoot tomorrow, not the big one, but the mini shoot. They've been having these mini shoots on Sunday, which are pretty cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's just been great. Got a bunch of ammo. I just picked up some 28 gauge, some 410s, and some 20s. So I think the supply chains are at least getting a little bit better.
Good.
Nice.
Good. That's good to hear.
Good
Yeah.
news.
Good to hear. Good stuff. Good. Tell everybody how they can find you out there, brother.
Yeah, www.mytbsc.com. We're open Wednesdays through Sundays. Wednesdays and Thursdays we close at 2. And then on the weekends we're open 8:30 to 5:30. Everyone welcome. We've got instructors, kids welcome, of course spouses, friends, girlfriends, so on and so forth. So you guys have a good one. We'll keep in touch, and looking forward to seeing Ben in Canada, which we need to get you guys on that trip too.
Yes, we do. Yeah. That would
One
be
day.
good.
All
I'm
right,
in.
guys. Thanks for everything you do.
Thanks,
Have a
man.
great
See you,
You're
buddy.
the man, brother. Good stuff. I will tell you if you're listening.
What are
and
they
you-
hunting in Canada?
Geese, I think. I think it's a Canadian goose shoot, which is cool. I've hunted them in Wisconsin. It's pretty fun. That's a big bird.
That is a big bird.
It's a big bird. For those of you listening who maybe you, the hubby, the boyfriend, you like to shoot, but you don't know if your girlfriend or wife will like it, trust me, she will like it. It is awesome. Miss Beth loves our days out
Both
at
of our
Time-Based
significant others like shooting sporting clays.
Beth likes shooting guns, period. But yes, I mean it's I which is very cool because if you're looking for like an afternoon, like a little date thing with your bride or your girlfriend, you're like, I don't know what we're gonna do today, and It's
Let's
either
go shooting.
Yeah, right. It's either home goods or how about we go shooting? And they go, hey, let's go shooting. You're like, yay.
It's funny you mentioned that. My wife and I were talking. She said the next date night that we have, she wants to go clay shooting.
There you go.
Boom. Dukes.
You got a winner there.
We haven't even met your wife, and we like her already.
She's part of the
She's
club.
all right.
She's all right.
She must not listen to your shows.
She must not. Yeah.
No, she's sleeping.
She's okay. Yeah, that's the best time to say that kind of stuff. She's okay. Yeah, good stuff. So, what do you
join us Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday
August
night.
16th.
Don't miss Tuesday night. That one's going to be a good one. And the next Sunday, again, 2 p.m. out of Bass Pro Shop for D Hubs there.
Yeah,
that's going to be good as well. I'm just looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm so happy that the fishing conversations are going back on. I'm so grateful to the great company that is Bartow Ford. Benny Jr. has a great operation going out there. Just some really, really good people. Their service department is excellent. Mike Biedenbow, who is the GM out there, is a great guy. I just dig it. It's really cool.
It's a great location. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Good
great
community,
food,
yeah.
good people.
Good community out there. That whole, Polk County bunch is fishy. So we have a lot of great questions and a lot of great kids and families show up to these events. So it's going to be very cool. I will be at Gator Gyms 10 to noon today. The Real Animals Junior Pro Staff Tournament Award Ceremony for 2022, our second tournament. We will be giving out the awards 10 a.m. to noon today. So stop out and see us, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive. Again, big thank you out to Jim Bickle for everything he does, not only for the fishing community, but for kids in general. Super good people out there at Gator Gym. So coming out and see us, all good stuff.
Yes, sir. This week coming up, we're on that first quarter moon, or last quarter moon, and that is going to mean slower moving currents. It's hot out there. Make sure you're hydrating. Get those slower moving baits going. Fish are hot. Water's hot. But should be a good week of weather, and hopefully you'll get out there and catch them up.
Yeah, no doubt. Have a great week, everybody.
Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. for that Sunday night live stream show on the Real Animals Facebook or Hubbard's Marina Facebook pages. Don't miss it.
And don't forget, tomorrow morning, myself, Captain Big Ben Marshall, the T. Mahoney Company Real Animals Radio Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620. Another chance to talk a little fishing, so make sure you check that out as well. Have a great day. Dukes, again, great job, my brother. We appreciate you. Tight lines, everybody. We're out. Was, but I saw it over there, too.
Yeah.
The preceding program.
It was barbecue, pulled pork on a grilled cheese sandwich with Texas toast.
Yeah.
Sweet baby Jesus. Where is that and how can I get
There it
one?
is. The meat machine, is that what that's called?
The meat machine food truck. The melt machine, that's what it
Melt
says.
machine. That could be it. She's standing in front of that part of the...
Where are you, melt machine?
Somewhere local, because Fox is doing it.
Yeah.
It is melt. Is it melt? Yeah, it's melt machine. Yeah,
I'm gonna call the good people over at Fox 13 right now and find out where that food truck is.
We're gonna need something in a graphic telling us that. You just talking about it, we can't hear it.
The audio's not on, guys.
Come on! Good golly!
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week for another episode. Thanks for tuning in this morning and hanging out with us. Again, don't forget, tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., we got the Sunday morning Real Animals radio show on 620 WDAE and should be streaming live on the Real Animals Facebook page as well. And then Tuesday night, August 16th, you've heard it a lot this morning, the Bartow Ford Real Animals Fishing Conversation. August 21st, 2 p.m., Bass Pro Shops in the Tampa Bass Pro Shops. September 13th, we've got that Old Salts Fishing Conversation at Krabby's on the Pass. Hopefully we'll see you out for all those events. Tomorrow night, live stream show, 8:30 p.m. Got our inshore report from Captain Mike. Definitely tune in for that. So 8:30 p.m. Real Animals Facebook, the Hubbard's Marina Facebook live show tomorrow night. Off the hook. We got a new studio and new logo, and we're doing double giveaways tomorrow night. So $1,600 in free trips tomorrow night because of last week. So don't miss tomorrow night's live stream show. Anything else you want to add?
Listen, if you guys want to play a trick on your kids, especially if you got young kids, set them down in front of the TV right now. Nancy Pelosi is going to be on TV. They will be scared to death. It will be awesome.
See you guys.
Always fun.
I couldn't bet.
Not our best show.